I'm just waiting. So, hello and welcome to my design studio. If this is your first time joining, I want to welcome you. My name is Kat. I am owner of Kat's Creations and More, and today I'm going to be teaching you a technique using a Unique in the Creek tree board. It's been out there for a while, and there's a multitude of different ways you can do this. I think I have this year shown you how to do one using the Norfolk pine to create a real touch wreath. Today we're going to do it using Deca mesh, but I'm going to use the elevated premium Deca mesh. I'm going to walk you through all the steps, and then we'll look at how we can embellish it, what are some options of use, all the things. So before we go ahead and get started, let me just make sure that we are truly live and that I turn our chat on. Give me just 1 second, because I always go to YouTube, but then I always forget it's supposed to be on the live tab. So on the live tab is where you will find all of my live tutorials, but also all the replays of a live tutorial, which is kind of confusing there. If you're just looking for any type of video that may not have been necessarily a YouTube live, you will want to just click on the video tab. And if you're looking for some short, quick tips, just, in and out little things, if you hop on over to the shorts tab, there's a lot of really good, meaningful, quick tips for you. Facebook. Let me just make sure I am live on the Facebook. We are live on the Facebook, and let me turn chat on. Okay. Hi, Pam. 2 Pams. Hi, Pam Livingston. Hi, other Pam. It's like comments are going. Good evening from Chicago. It looks like, is it Apollina Gonzalez? Crafty Mama Anne Marie, welcome. Hi, Tanya, again, joining from Jacksonville, Florida. If you guys can share this video, let me just give you a little quick educational fun fact. So when I go live on YouTube, I don't get paid. Any content creator does not get paid when they go live. I know it sounds crazy. The only way any content creator makes any type of money is if there's ads running through their tutorials. And so a lot of people get really upset because there's ads being placed. Well, that's how YouTube makes their money too. So if we want to keep YouTube free, then you got to satisfy the advertisers. And if the content creators like me want to provide free content to you, we have to deal with the ads. And I know they get a little troublesome, but you can skip them. And if you really and truly want to help a content creator out, comment and share, because what that does is it puts our video out there for more people to see it. But that's it. And it generally takes like 1,000 people to view your YouTube video for you to make $2. So people are like, well, how are all these people making, hundreds of thousands of dollars? Well, it's super easy. If these content creators are well known, they could put out anything. They could put out, I'm reading my phone book, and people are going to tune in and watch. And they might get 500,000 views on that particular type of live. But it all adds up. And so that is how that works. Because there's some misleading information that says for every comment you get paid, for every share you get paid. If you watch it all the way to the end, they get paid even more. No, all it does is it's just all about the algorithm. Like YouTube is basically our TV channel, right? It's a TV station. And so TV stations make money by advertisers. That's how they get paid. And the same thing. So if you guys can share and comment, that's great. It interacts with me, so I don't feel like I'm just standing here in my shop by myself, which is the reality of what I'm doing. But I love to chat with you, and I love to talk to you about the whole design process. And for those of you that are a little upset because content creators put ads in their content, you can skip them, or you can choose not to watch them. Those are the options. I mean, nobody is like forcing people to watch any type of tutorial. And if you want tutorials without ad-free content, then those are the tutorials that you're going to want to make a purchase of. So free content, deal with the ads. Don't want to deal with the ads, then support your content creator and purchase their tutorials. That's it in a nutshell. I already described what we're making today. How to save this video. If you're on YouTube, save. That's all you need to do. Click the save button. If you are on Facebook, click the share button or the arrow. Depends on what icon you have on your phone, or depending upon how you're watching it. And then remember, on Facebook, they're not housing content, no Facebook Lives, no video content at all out of a 30-day window, which means on the 31st day, that content will disappear. So that's why you need to upload it to your computer and make sure you save it, like Cat's Creations Christmas tree tutorial. That way you know where it's at when you go to reference that. Notifications, if you are on YouTube, all you have to do, subscription bell or the subscribe button. I wish I could do that, like just go and there's a subscribe button, or ring, 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 and there's a little button. I'm sure I can figure out how to do it. It'll just take me all day or all year to figure that out. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pivot you down. How would you share the YouTube? That is a really great question, Tanya. Because I don't watch content providers when they go live, but I think if there's an option down below that says share, or like little 3-dot ellipses, and you can click the share button. Let me look at YouTube. I know it's just going to pull up mine, but let me see if it'll allow me to look outside of that. Probably won't. Share button. Like for me, close out of the live chat. Close out of the live chat, and then in my description box, there's a little button down here that says share. You just want to go ahead and click that share button, and that's how you share it. And you can, it'll give you options like, do you want to share it in email? Do you want to put it on your social media pages? All of the things. That being said, pivoting down now. I have to make sure, Cat, don't turn off the camera. Okay, pivoting down to the work surface. Things you will need to put this together. A triangle or tree board. You can get these from Craft Outlet. Craft Outlet has them available. As of the day of this tutorial, which is Thursday, December the 11th of the year 2025, you can go over to craftoutlet.com and purchase these. You can also go to Amazon and you can buy them in a bundle of 5. They also have a bundle that gives you an assortment of Unique in the Creek boards. So it has like the ring board, the tree board, a large and a small board, which is great for if you just want to kind of sample all of those things out. And I think I have tutorials on using all of them. So that is an option you have. Let me pull my YouTube, not YouTube. Let me pull my Facebook thing up. Okay, anytime you want to play. There we go. It's a little slow. Hi, Irvina. Hi, Robin. Okay, this is a 20-inch triangular board. You will need 65 pieces of deco mesh, which means you will need 2 rolls of deco mesh in order to complete this design. So once you have the board, you will need 6-inch zip ties in which to go ahead and secure your pieces. Now, we are not going all the way up to the very, very top. There is a top which we're going to use. We're going to place our bow up there, like a tiny little bow on top of our tree. If you have a star, you can put a star on top. You can put whatever you would like. Little angel, little, ooh, that would have been really super cute. I would have had to find her before we went live. I have a really small miniature angel, which we could have wired to the top. So we are just using, this is what's called premium foil, which means that there is a wide foil in every single one of the rows, just like this. And so that is what we're going to be using. These are, it's 10 inches wide, and you're going to cut them into 10-inch pieces, 65 of them. That is how many that we have rigged here, which is, let's see, I know these have row letters. I'm trying to see, or they have numbers. So starting at row 12 at the very, very bottom, it is 9, and then there's going to be another 9 pieces on top of that. Then it goes 8, then it goes 7, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, and then we save the open spot for our bow or whatever you're going to attach. Now, depending upon how you want to place this on the door, I prefer to have mine a little bit lower, because if I was to center this, give me 1 second, I'm just going to pivot you up to show you what I mean, because it's easier to show you than to tell you. So I'm going to take this one off, set it over here, meaning that if I put the hanger at the very, very top of my hole, this is normally where I hang my wreaths. So if I was to do that, it's going to hang here. If you're okay with that, then that's going to be the perfect place for your hanger. However, if you want it to sit up a little bit higher on the door, because remember, our pieces are going to come down, they're going to go past the board, you want to bring it up a little bit higher. And so with that, it has me right here at this row of 3. It's actually on row 4. In the very middle is where I'm going to put my hanger. Okay, now I can pivot you down. I just had to show you that. Eeks, I'm so sorry for the up and down. One of these days, I'll get my dual camera things going. So I want to add my zip tie. So I am just going to overlap it right here on row 4. So I'm going to flip this over. I want my zip tie part on the inside. So I'm going to take a wide zip tie. I'm going to go in, and I want to make sure that I don't ruin the other space right here. And I'm just going to put that in right there. I will take the excess off so that on the very back, I have my hanger that's a little bit further down the line. If you want to add lights, you add lights now. There, I have 2 tutorials using the Unique in the Creek tree board, and I show you how to run your wired lights depending upon what you have. I usually use the little fairy lights with the remote because it's a little easier for the client. And you would just run them up, run them back down, run them up, run them back down, and then to where you have your battery pack here. And then you would go ahead and secure your battery pack to the back so that the customer can turn it on and off, set the timer, change the batteries. Okay, but we're not putting lights in this one, but if you were to put lights in it, now would be the time. Oh, thank you, Crafty Mama Anne Marie. She said close out the chat, and there's an arrow to share. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to put in our tree branch petals. That's what everyone knows them as. I call them tree branch pieces. So like I said, 10 by 10 inch piece. I've cut these with the wood burning tool. I'm going to be using them in the direction where it curls with it. I am going to need a couple zip ties, or you can use rubber bands. So here's my finished edge. I'm going to pivot and put it on the corner, and we're going to go top corner all the way down to the bottom corner. And we are just going to match these up as good as we possibly can with our corners. Okay, they actually match, but then from here we're going to stretch our deco mesh. we're going to take this piece and we're going to bring it right down the center, just like so. And then we're going to do the same with a slight little overlap on the other side. We just don't want to see the overlap on the underside, but we are looking for this point, and that's what we're trying to achieve, is a point here. I've got a little bit of a fray right there. We'll take that off. Then what you're going to do is you're going to gather and pull your sides in like that. I'm going to go ahead and take my zip tie, bring this up. Me and zip ties, man. I'm going to go ahead and cinch it on there nice and tight, but when we are placing them on the board, we don't want the folded side up. That would be unattractive. I'm going to remove the tail end off of here. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm going to give myself 1/3 inch past my zip tie, and then I'm going to cut everything else off, just like this, so that I truly have a little petal. Like, kind of looks like a leaf almost. But then from here, I like to take my zip ties and twist them to the center. This is now going to go right inside my first location. And I am going to make sure that my zip tie on the board comes below the zip tie on my petal. And then we're just going to remove it. And that is how you do your petal. Okay, let's do that one more time. So 10 by 10 inch piece of deco mesh, pivot, corner to corner, even it up as best as you can, stretch it here, keep your finger here, pull that down. Okay, same thing here, just with a little bit of a slight overlap. So we've got that nice little pencil point. Go ahead and pull your ends in. Gonna take my zip tie, or if you have a rubber band, you could rubber band this. I find that zip ties last a little bit longer. Gonna remove the little end. Gonna leave myself a thumb's length because we need to have something in here. It also helps us cover the board. We're flipping it over because here's where the fold is. I'm going to turn my zip tie in just so that the little head of the zip tie is to the left or the right. It just helps a lot on the appearance of the deco mesh once you place it inside. So I already have a bunch of these pieces done, so I'm going to be sliding them all in. Again, we'll get in our first 9. And I like mine to overlap slightly. So they're going to overlap one on top of the other. And if your tree branches are not all the same, don't worry. They aren't in nature either. They're not all the same. So if you have one that's a little bit fatter than the other, one a little thinner than the other, go with it. Slide them in. And so you can see how those little deco mesh tails are going to provide cover of that gray board so that we do not see that. I need 4. 1, 2, 3. Need one more. 4. Ooh, that one's a little larger than a thumb. Sliding it in. And like I said, I'm just taking my little zip tie heads and pushing those down. Sometimes it's easier to do it after you already have them in. Sometimes it's easier if you do it before. Whatever works for you. There's that one. And they're going to look puffy. That's okay, because when they hang on the door, they won't be puffy. you won't see them look the way that we see them when we're looking at it flat. I know. I was like, that went really far under my work table. Okay, last one going in. Sliding it in. And we're going to zip tie. Just like so. Turn the head, and that is our first row. And so these have some ability to be altered. You can move them slightly in, slightly out. Now we're ready to go ahead and place the next 9 on our board. And if you guys have any questions, now's a really great time to ask them. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. See how what I'm saying is they lift up? It's okay. They'll all eventually lay flat. They're just all poofy because we just made them. You can always, if the poof is really bugging you so bad, you can always take and lay a heavy object on there just to kind of flatten them out. Right now they're fairly poofy, but it's okay. I like them that way. And you can do these in any color. You can do light green. You can do dark green. You can do white. You can make this look like an extension of what you might currently have on your Christmas tree now. For example, mine's all farmhouse decor, so my tree is green. And then when it gets ready to embellish, I can embellish it with like the same similar embellishments I have on my tree. So it's kind of like a mini tree. Nancy, great question. How long is the petal? Okay, let's look. So from the point to where I have a zip tie, 5.5 inches. Where I have cut it off is the full 7. So tip to end, 7 inches. Okay, go ahead and place this one in. And all I'm doing is zipping, and then I'm turning all my heads to the side. It's just less stuff that these have to sit on top of. That one. The hardest part is cutting all your decoupage and making all your petals. I already took the guesswork out of it for you, so you didn't have to watch me do that 65 times. Just make sure when you're cutting your zip ties off, you're not inadvertently cutting off the zip tie next to it, like I almost just did there. Slide them over. Last one. I like to take the ones on the end to make sure that they're away from the outside of the board, the little head of the zip tie, so that they're in. So you have a really nice flush look. And I went high foil because I really want this one to sparkle. Okay, we are on, what is this one? 9, 10. Okay, we're working on, they're numbered instead of lettered here. So this is actually row 10, which has 8 pieces going in. So there's that one. Always make sure that your folds are under so that they're not facing up. And you can see how this kind of creates a really nice layered effect. And you can even use this board at Easter and do them in the opposite direction and turn this into a carrot, a very large carrot, and use these facing that direction. Same method, I would probably go high foil orange if you can find it, if not at least wide foil orange, and then you could add your little greenery bundle up here with a nice bow and make a carrot. So that's another option as a creative in using this style board. You can also turn it into an ice cream cone and then add your flavors of ice cream here at the top. Okay, turning to the side. You can see it goes fairly quick. Once your board's loaded, once you have all of your pieces assembled, it's just add them into your board. Okay. Turn this one to the side. And the reason why I like using zip ties too is if I'm going to fluff, I cannot pull these out no matter what I do, because the head of my zip tie is catching on the zip tie that I put these in with, which is just extra security to make sure they can't come out. Okay, we're moving on to row number 9, which has 7 pieces in here. There's one. I'm moving it in. Turn this one to the side. What do you think about how easy this appears to be to making one? I wasn't sure if I wanted to add lights to this one or not. I opted to not, to keep the price point a little lower. And then, of course, I upgraded my mesh to go with high foil. There are some people who do it a different way. They roll them into cylinders so that they have, it's kind of like long little pipes that go in here, just to give you different textures. Again, no way is a right way and no way is a wrong way. It's just options for you as a designer. Okay. Let's see, can we flip that one? Yes. Okay. Now we are on row number 8, and there are 7 pieces. So I'm going to pivot this one to the other side. Trying to get it in on that side. You can just wait if you wanted to go all the way across before cutting your zip ties. This one actually zip tied twice. So it goes quickly. And here's the back side. Always make sure, again, your folds are going to the back. felt a little thicker. I'm like, sometimes I was like, maybe I was just holding them differently. This one's going this direction. Because I'm like, some have really long tails and others have really short tails. Doesn't matter. It just helps you with board coverage. But like I said, using this type of mesh, we have a really good coverage. Turning it sideways. These would be great on your kids' doors. You could create all the petals and allow them to assemble and put them all in, because it's a no glue method at this point. You're just zipping them, which kids love to do because it sounds cool. And then each one of them can decorate them uniquely to their own personality. It's kind of a fun project to do maybe during Christmas break. We are now on row number 7, which has 6 zip ties. I'll try to get these to go in. They start to get a little crowded the closer we get to the top. So you always want to make sure you get the zip tie out of the way. And I'm always stacking mine so that I have one on top of the one that precedes it. Two more here. Oop. Push that one out. It's easier for me to get them naturally to pull my zip tie towards me. And then this one, I want it to come towards me, so that should be fairly easy here. And these can come out, like I said, they can come out slightly to the side. You can pull these out to the side, however you want to manipulate your look. You can make a Santa hat with that board too, absolutely. Hi Allison, welcome. Hi Jane. Barb says, I love watching your videos. You are so talented. I bought a couple of these boards to use after seeing you do the one with the Norfolk pine. Keep up the good work and have a Merry Christmas. Well, thank you, Barb. You too. Yeah, the Norfolk pine one was really popular because that's like the viral. Everybody likes that type of greenery. So we are on row number 6, and there is 5 in this section. Let's see. I saw a comment. Barbara says, are you in the area that has all the rain and floods? Not the worst of the areas, but we do have rivers and lakes that are only about 5 miles from us. So those are extraordinarily full. We've been here for 3 years, and this is the highest we have ever seen them. Some of our roads are closed due to flooding, because even though Washington does a really good job at maintaining all their roads and infrastructure, but when you have rain on top of already saturated ground, there's really no room for that rain to go. But we are fine. We actually sit up a little bit higher in our city than some folks do. Not in elevation, it's just our land is elevated much higher than the rivers and the lake. Like we have a lake about 6 miles from us, and our creek has now become a river. And rivers have, it's funny, I call them like, they're almost like waterways. They're so wide. We have waterfalls manifesting off the hillsides, which are nice. It's nice to look at. My chickens hate it, but it beats the heat. So I think they say we have to get through this week with the worst of the atmospheric river, and then we go for round 2. So we shall see. I know the lakes are at capacity, so the dams have been dumping tons of that water to the lowlands, and that's where a lot of the flooding is happening. Okay. Couple more. We are in row 4, where we have 3 pieces. I'm trying to take some that are like really super pretty looking and save those for the tops. Oop. I did this one. Let's see, can we spin it? I think I can. I put it in the wrong way. I put it in upside down. I put it in folded side up. And we need to go folded side down. And then I can't impact my hanger. So this is the one that I have my hanger in, which is okay. We're just going to bypass it. I'm going to hang on to that one. That one's really pretty too. We'll also make a couple more. Put this one in right here. And then we're on row 3, which has 3 in it. But let me show you how to make the petal again. Because I have the 4 for here, so I need to make 4 for here. Yes, I need to make the 3. Okay, so 10-inch by 10-inch piece of deco mesh. Tilt it corner to corner. And just flatten it. And then you're going to stretch it right here. And I'm going to take and fold that and bring it straight down. I'm going to do a little bit of an overlap just to give me a nice solid point. And then I'm going to gather in. I'm going to put a zip tie on this. These wise, thank God we don't have like left or right petals. So we snip that off. We flip it over because we don't want the folded side up. We want the folded side down. We'll leave about a thumb's length on your actual pine branch piece. And then I always turn my zip ties inward. So I'm going to use this one here. And we'll snap that off. Remember, this is going to go through the other side, so don't let it sticking up get you off focus. I just can't have it protruding through the back and keep the board flat. So here we go again, petal, diagonal, corner to corner. I have a weird fray right there, so I pulled that off. We're going to elongate. We're going to take this and bring it down to the center. Same thing with a slight overlap. And then gather it in. Go ahead and place your zip tie on the end. You should have about a 7-inch piece by the time you cut your tail off. So remove the zip tie. Flipping this over. This is where I'm going to cut. So here is 5 inches, or from here to here is 5. Here's 7. So if I cut this off, which is literally 1 thumb's length. And then that's going to go in here, up. Straight down. And we have 1 more piece to put in. So one more time. Finished edge, 10 by 10 piece on the diagonal, corner to corner. Go ahead and make sure all your edges are nice and smooth. We're going to elongate, fold right at my middle finger, fold again with a slight overlap to give you that pencil point. We're going to gather in, zip tie or rubber band, whatever is your preference. Go ahead and remove that. We're going to measure out 1 thumb's width, cut the tail off. Here's the folded side, that's going face down, right in here. Just like that. Leave that piece, and then we have our last 4 pieces going in. So I always look for the really pretty ones. So like those 2 are really nice. Not that they all aren't, but you know, if we're gonna get nitpicky, we want to kind of make things look really pretty. So we can flip that in. Should have flipped it the other way. That one I'm saving. I'm going to go ahead and turn that in. And this I'm going to pull right into the center. And then we're going to place the other 2 in the last 2 holes. So this is actually row 2. So I'm going to make sure everything goes to the inside. I'm going to try to enable it somehow. Just like that. And last piece going in, right in here. And as you can tell, those little perfect end pieces stop right where our board ends, which will help us again with hiding that gray, right? And then now it's all just a matter of you fluffing and doing whatever you would like with the actual tree. That's what it looks like right now. It is just drop dead gorgeous based on that high foil. And we're going to do a super simple little bow for the top. It doesn't have to be anything grand. So I am using this 1.5" ribbon, and I believe it came from Craft Outlet. Don't show it, but I'm almost positive it came from Craft Outlet. This is little pine trees. So I am going to figure out where do I want my ribbon tails to fall. And I kind of like that look. I don't want it to go too far down. So that is about 8 inches. So we're going to start with a dovetail end, which is just bring your wired edges together. We're going to cut from the folded side to the wired point. We want to measure off 8 inches. We're going to gather. Gather right here. I'm going to transfer what's in my left hand to my right hand and drag it back to the 10-inch mark. I want a 3.5 inch loop, I think. Let me look. Let's go 4, which is 8 inches. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, let's go 8. So it's a 4-inch loop. So we're measuring from the 10 out at 8 inches. So 4 inches and 4 inches is 8 inches. So we're going to inchworm it. We're going to hand it off. We're going to do a little twist. Take it back to the 10-inch line. We're going to measure off another 8 inches. We're going to gather. We're going to hand it off. we're going to do a little twist. This is where it's going to get a little complicated. We're now going to take that down to a 3.5 inch bow, which means we're going to measure out 7 inches. We're going to gather. I'm going to hand it off with a twist. Bring it back to the 10-inch line. Measure out my 7 inches. Bring it back to the center. Twist. And then remember, we got to get that 8-inch tail back in there. So right about here. So I have it all in my hand. Let's put a red pipe cleaner on it. I'm going to go ahead and just flip that around. Nice and tight. Because we don't want it overly big. Because then it'll just, on a scale side of things, everything will feel like it's a little too big. So I'm just going to move some things around. Just like so. I'll bring my tail down. We'll dovetail the end here. We'll cut that off. And so here is our nice super cute bow, but I'm going to add a loop to the center just so that we can hide that a little bit more. So there's my bow. So I think, how do I want to do that? Do I want to add extra tails? Let me think about that. If I want to add an extra tail, I can cover the loop, but I'm thinking like, do I want to add some extra tails here? No, I don't want to go super crazy. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one off. Make it nice and straight. I'm going to cut off about, I think that's 14 inches. I'm going to fold and then fold. So we have a nice little thin piece here. I'm going to place this right over the center, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and tie this off. Just like that. Nice and tight. If you want, you can go ahead and put a super big knot in it. Not needed. Just making sure that's nice and tight. Cut the ends off. We have our pipe cleaner in to go ahead and secure it. We're gonna go, so I'm gonna flip this over so you can see. So we have a hole right in the top. It's a little hard to put your bow like right here in that center hole. So I'm gonna go right in here in the 2 center on the row before that, because we can see where everything's at, because that's where our zip ties are. So I'm going to move that to one side. So kind of where I have my zip tie heads. We're going to pull that down and give a little twist, twist, twist. And then we're going to fluff it all. We're going to pull our tails down. Pull this one down. Go ahead and open these up. Just like so. Nice, super cute little bow for the top of our tree. Now, to elevate this design, what can you do? Okay, so we added a bow. I'm keeping it very traditional Christmas. So you can grab, this is my favorite. So between Walmart and Dollar Tree and Hobby Lobby. So I'll bring them all out. So like these are Dollar Trees. So they come in gold, silver, red, I think red, green, and gold, and blue. This is from Hobby Lobby in their My Little Christmas section. These ornaments are about 1 inch. This has 3 centimeters, so it's 1.18 of an inch. And then Walmart has these bundles. So this has 20. This has 36. This has 16. This depends on where you want to go and what you want. But Walmart, for some reason, has like really amped up their game. So this is like a little bit more of a rustic Christmas. They do have one that was a little bit more traditional Christmas, but I used that a lot last year, or this year. So these are the size of the balls, a little larger than an inch. And so what you could do is just come through, and I'm just like kind of plopping them, putting them in places where I want to see them go. So I might even bring this little bell in a little higher, move that gold down. We'll bring a green in. Let's open this box up. You can bring in white. This one's weird. It has a little mushroom. But red, green. Let me show you all the things that are in here. I think this is their woodlands, the woodland one. So I think it's super cute. Comes with ornament hangers. So obviously we can put some bigger things at the bottom. Like you might want to go like every other one. We can put a green in here. Maybe follow up with another red and make it very just setting that off to the side. I'm just placing these just to kind of look at the layout. There's little foxes. Those are super kind of cute. Little trees. Little cardinals. So I might want to maybe swap this out and put a little cardinal, although he gets lost. Maybe we'll put him up. Nope, he won't fit in the thing. Let's see, can we put a Christmas tree? I'll look at putting the Christmas tree in the actual bow. Let's look at some other options. I'm going to use quite a few different colors because I want a little bit of everything. I think the last time I did this, I did all the colors. I did blues. I wanted it to be very retro 70s. So like this one is from Hobby Lobby. So you can see we can go with little swirly candy canes. We can kind of come in here with that. We can do a little Christmas bulb. Let's take this one out. A little Christmas ornament. Bring a little pop of green in here. It's going to be entirely up to you how you want to place and where you want to place everything. Like you might not want shiny next to something else. You might want to bring these up and then put these in a little higher or a little lower. Again, here's the bell. Put the bell in. I try to keep glitter away from glitter. That needs to be something different. Let's add the fox in there. Let's add a white. Because as you get towards the bottom, you can definitely go a little bit bigger. Like that. Maybe you want to bring some up in here. It's all up to you. So I try to keep them like 1, here's 2, here's maybe 3. Oops. Kind of like how when we were adding our decomesh, then this becomes like the 4, right? And then we would have a 5 trio like here. Let's see what else we have. Let's go red. They kind of pop up because they're not sitting. They're not glued in. Ooh, I forgot that these have this one. They have these ones too. Those look kind of fun. So let's put that in there. Let me swap this out. Let me put a nice red one in. I'm going to move these down So these will be the little bit lower but bigger ornament balls. This will go in here. Let's go there, there, there. I really want to put the fox in. So we have something here. Let's do green. That'll kind of go in here. And then white, maybe? Yeah. And then I need something in here. White. Oh, I forgot I had silver. That's what happens. These are the silver ones, and these are from Hobby Lobby. So you can pick up a wide variety. You can get things that are more along the line of like what you would like. I like to just get a mix, and then I can kind of pick and choose, so that if I want to, I can, like, let's swap some of these out with our silver. Let's put silver here so that we're kind of breaking up that color. Let's put red in here. We have the 4 in the middle. We're going to do this. And I'm looking. I don't have one that is like, I think we're going to have to do red. But I don't want red with red. Let's see. Can we switch? Can we do that with this? That might work. Okay. I think that'll work. So let me stick the rest of these in my little bucket, of which you can get at the Dollar Tree too. I know I'm not paid by Dollar Tree to sell their merchandise. It just makes a nice small ornament ball holder. So with these, we are just going to glue these in. If you didn't want them to become permanent, you could take a wire and wire them in. But honestly, I don't have time for that. So I'm going to use our bell right in here. I am just frosting these like little cupcakes so that we're putting our little ornament hangers right in those little crevices. So around the edge, all the way up, kind of tuck them in. Around the outside. I'm like, did we have this one here? It went here. I'm just going with it. Here's our little gold. Put that down. This one's really super cute. Looks like a vintage C9 Christmas bulb. And you can add as many or as few or none that you'd like. It's entirely up to you. I'm just trying to space them out as evenly as I can. Trying to keep them in there. The deco mesh wants to push them out. So I'm trying to push them in so that they can dry. And I'll probably add a handful of more. But what do you guys think? It's just a nice little festive tree. And like I said, imagine having your kids make one. And then they can put it on their door. I was contemplating doing the white one. But then I was like, oh, I'd be tempted to do it all like Candyland themed, you know? So there's that one. Right in here. See, I'm just tucking them in that little V section. Right in here. if we wanted to go true vintage, we would definitely do, you know, the blown glass ornament look. So I'm going much bigger here. Just tucking that in. You could take blue, yellow, whatever bulb colors you want. I'm trying to keep mine traditional Christmas with a little twist. With a little fun in it, like the little spirals, the little things that look like frosted ornaments. Like this one. Just like so. And some people might be like, well, so what are you going to do at the bottom? Nothing. My tree hangs down so you can't see anything underneath, is my theory. If you wanted to, you could take Christmas packages and you could put Christmas packages here. There's a wide range of different decorating options you could do. I just want to keep mine like Christmas tree. I use all shatterproof ornaments because, you know, all it takes is one good gust of wind to knock them all off. So use my scissors, my pliers, just to kind of hold that in place so it doesn't want to slide on out. Take that one in. See, some of them want to stay, and the other ones want to pop out. There we go, just like so. Let me give this just a moment to set up so that my lower bulbs don't fall to the floor when I go to pick this up. I'm like just trying to, here, I'll just stand here and hold it. So that is what I have thus far. Like I said, you can come in, you can add more ornaments, you could add less ornaments, you could choose not to put any ornaments in. And those look like, just a couple more minutes. I'm going to add that Christmas tree to the front. And I think I might add, maybe, we'll see. We'll see if we can get that cardinal in here somewhere, because that'd be super cute for people who have lost a family member this year. That would have been nice to put him in here. But if we add him, he conflicts. And if I put him in as just the end, he doesn't really look that great. Kind of like the tree, because it's Christmas tree ribbon. But I'm going to tuck the tree just under the center. So let me do that real quick. This is going to go right. Who am I kidding? I'll put it right on the bow. Let me make sure I can have that, the tail swoop down. Okay. Let me make sure I have all my glue threads off, because we've been running glue back and forth over the top. I'm going to pivot you up. And we're going to pray that nothing falls off. I'm going to go a little higher. We're going to pray nothing falls off that wasn't quite glued down. I guess that's how we'll figure it out, right? I had to find my hanger, because remember we had that hanger that was in the back, so I just went through and pulled it out so that I have my option for hanging. So there is our gorgeous, beautiful little Christmas tree, all in its glory. I think it is, let me think, 25 inches long and 22 inches at its widest. And like I said, your branches, you can come in here, you can alternate them, you can pull some out. If you want to fluff your tree a little bit, you can definitely do that. It's going to be entirely up to you. But, there's your Christmas tree ornament. Hi, Carol. Hi, Gloria. Hi, Mary Carol. She says we'll catch the replay. It'll go to replay right when I go ahead and click end. Any other final questions I can answer for you? This is all done on the Unique in the Creek board. We talked about adding lights. This one does not have lights in it. You can add them. You put that in before you put in all your deco mesh pieces. You just need a Unique in the Creek tree board, 2 rolls of deco mesh, some mini ornaments, and an 1.5 inch ribbon that you want to be your coordinating ribbon at the top. You don't have to do the bow at the top. You can put an angel at the top. You don't even have to put ornaments on. And then you need 6-inch zip ties. So I will link the boards in the bundle that Amazon has, as well as the assorted board mix for the Unique in the Creek board. So it kind of gives you like a little bit of everything. You can also order the board if you're just doing a singular board from Craft Outlet. What else? And I'll link my zip ties because I buy them in 1,000 packages. So I get 1,000 per package, just like this, so that I have plenty when I need them. Other than that, I will be posting this later tonight if you're interested in it for sale. It's the last Unique in the Creek board I have for now. And that's about it. That's all I have for you. All right, everyone. Have a great evening. Stay safe. We're going to go hunker down and enjoy the rain. And I will talk